Welcome back to another Divi tutorial on how to use Divi. Today we want to look at just how we can manipulate and work with different kinds of column sizes. There are many times that we get to work with Divi. You can see, like in our demo site that we have here, you have the different kinds. You have the columns here, which we've resized a little bit. You have the standard little ones that we have. You can see the different column sizes. In this case we're using 3, but you can put it up to 4, you can bring it down to 2, however you want to style it. The versatility that we love when we're working with Divi. But today we want to work with how can you customize it to any size that you would like it to be, rather than to be restricted to what Divi is offering. So let's jump back into this makeshift footer at the bottom here. And you can see currently we have 4 equal sizes, the columns each one. You can see that here we have like a Divi logo. We have these 2 small menus, and then here we have like a call to action for a sign up for email newsletters. All right, so you can clearly see now, just by looking at this, that you're using a lot of wasted space over here, and therefore all this extra white space that we have here, it doesn't look good. So what can we do about it? Well, let's start playing around with the column sizes. So the very first thing we want to do is we want to jump into the row. And under the row, we want to go to design. I'm going to go sizing, and I want to start using the custom gutter width. Let's set that to yes. And by default, it usually starts at 3. So you can see the spacing that's between them. And if I minimize it, you can see the spacing gets less and less. So now that we have that set to 1, we jump up here and we'll turn the max width to 100%, rather than using a pixel value. So we make that 100%. So what does 100% mean? It means that the maximum width that's being allowed by the row can be used up by the content. So if we're looking at this particular row that we have, let's just clear here. You see the row that we have, we can see from that very first pixel, that side, all the way to the other side is being used 100%. Now the difference over here, from the edge over here to the corners and on either side, that is being worked with by looking at the width over here. So if we take this, you see it's currently set to 80%. If we make that bigger and bigger to 100%, you see the logo and the form moves to the outer areas of the website. All right, but it's good practice to have that at around 80 to 90%. Let's just leave it at 80 for today. All right, now that we have that set up, let's go and jump into the columns themselves. So if we go back to content and we start playing around with the columns. So let's go to column 1, we click the gear, we go advanced, we go to custom CSS, module elements, and then we jump to the main element. And in the main element, we just put in the code width. In this case, we're going to call it 10% and important. Now, where does this 10% come from? Well, remember I said earlier that we have a maximum width of 100%? Well, that 100%, now when we are working with our columns, each of the different sizes that we have together need to add up to 100%. So if we have 10% here, that means we have 90% left to play with. But it's important also to remember is that we want to make sure that this is mobile responsive. So if we jump to the mobile, we put that in as well, but in this case we want to make it 100%. So why do we do that? Is because we want to make sure that it takes up the whole line over here. If it's left to 10%, it's not going to look good. All right, so let's put in the 100% and we jump to the next one. All right, I jump up, go back down. All right, so the next one that we will probably want to work with, because these two are probably going to be the same size. So if this is 10%, maybe we want to make this one, because this is the one that's taking up the most space. Let's bump that up. Let's bump it up quite high. Let's go to the main element and let's push this up to 50%. So once it jumps up to 50%, you can see it clearly jumps to the next line. So why is that? Because if we add up now, we have 10 plus 25 plus 25 plus 50. I'm not so great at maths, but I'm quite sure that adds up to over 100%. So how can we bring this one back up so that is in line with the other two? Well, we have these two remaining ones to play with the math. All right, so let's go down. If we're taking 50% here and we're taking 10% there, that's 60%. It means we have 40% to play with. So if we come back to here, we go jump in and we give these each 20. And the next column, we also go and give the same amount of 20. Then there you go. It jumps in. It's now nicely spaced, given each one for the content that they're actually providing. And our sign up form is nice and big for the people to actually access. All right, so I think that shows you how you can easily resize the different columns. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments, or if you have any other tutorials you'd like me to cover, let me know as well. Otherwise, for that, we'll see you in the next video.